Well, a mother and a daughter. We couldn't find Karula, but we've got Thandi, who is, of course, Karula's daughter from her first litter, Shadow's sister. And I wonder where her young boy is. Probably not too far off. So I think this is the leopard Craig and Rebecca saw today when they were doing signal testing. And she's moved off the boundary road and deeper into Chitwa. Now, she is chosen not the most picturesque spot for a nap. We are behind the aeroplane hangar in the quarry. There's obviously a quarry there, you can see that. There's the aeroplane hangar. And she's obviously not as perturbed about the scenery as we are. And the reason there's a quarry is to maintain all the roads, and especially the roads over the clay areas when they get very muddy. Then take sand from here to make sure you don't sink or get stuck when you're driving through those areas. But it is great. I don't think I've seen Thandi, or had a nice Thandi sighting, in many, many moons. So I'm quite chuffed. Remember, hashtag Safari Live, or questions at WildEarthTV if you want to ask any questions about the leopards, their lineage, where they come from, etc., etc. And you can also send an email to questions at WildEarthTV. Now, I've heard that her cub was found a little bit earlier, but right down in the Mulwanini River, and unfortunately we don't have any signal there. Let's hope she doesn't head there too soon. She looks to be reasonably hungry, so she might go off on the hunt. And as we know, around the Chitwa airstrip, there are lots of impala, lots of kudu, lots of different antelope that might get her interest. Now, she's much darker than her sister Shadow or her mom, and I know she's Jamie's favourite leopard. Now, we've been seeing on Cheetah Plains occasionally recently, Kochava is one of her adult daughters, and that young male of hers is getting quite big now, 6-7 months, so it probably will survive to adulthood. And another adult of hers that dispersed was Bahuti, so she's done reasonably well at raising cubs, far better than her sister Shadow. Oh, loud woodlands kingfisher. She is a very pretty leopard. I really like that dark coloration. There we go. Yeah, she's definitely on the hungry. She could be on the hunt, so this could be exciting. I think we're definitely going to stick with her as much as we can. There's some very thick areas here, and she is way shorter than the grass, but we will try stick with her for as long as possible. Well, we're going to try to keep up with it while we do that. We're going to go back to Taylor, who's got something that definitely doesn't move as quick as a leopard. Well, she's just been walking down the road, scent marking, the lovely smell of buttered popcorn permeating through the air. And she's definitely on the hunt, but she's taking a little rest. It seems like she might have heard something, or something's caught her attention slightly to the east of her. What can you hear, madam? Don't you love the way a leopard's tail moves? It does its own dance. It wouldn't be exciting if she went back to where the young male is. the perfect time of the day and almost the perfect weather to be with a leopard, because she is going to be quite mobile, or at least active, not fast asleep, especially if she's a bit hungry. Now, as she was moving around, she looked quite playful this evening. Hi, Rachel. Rachel is wondering, how old is Thandi's cub? Well, Rachel, I think he's about 7 months old now. So he's getting quite old. So a very good chance, the older they get and the closer they get to that year mark, the less chance of them not making it becomes. So leopard cubs have a very high mortality rate up to a year, about 70%, and then after the year it drops substantially down to about 15 or 20%. But and then of course when they get very old again, sort of males over 13, oh, she's biting at flies, males over 13, that mortality rate again jumps up quite high. Snapping at the stable flies who've been snacking on her ears. Constant battle with biting flies that the big cat's out here face. Oh, she's on the move again. Let's keep up with it. We're going to be playing leapfrog with Amant from Chitwa. And we're quite happy because we're the only two cars here, so being spoilt. Now there is a little dip coming up, so I'm a little worried we might have a bit of picture breakup. I think let's try. Okay, we're going to give you a view of her as she disappears, and before we disappear, oh, she just jumped into the grass there. I wonder what was there. But okay, we're going to try keep up with her, as I said. Now we don't want to let her get too far ahead of us, so let's maybe give it a go. Let's see what happens. I think we should be okay. I'm trying to check the line of sight and work out where Gari Repeater is. So I think we should be okay here. Now she just leapt into the grass right here, and I lost sight of her. Where did she go? Thandi, disappearing left. Oh, she jumped up the tree. That's why I can't see her. I'm looking on the ground when I should be looking in the sky. There she is. Dark in that tambuti tree. Now, she's probably gone up there to get away from some of those flies. I'm just going to move a little bit to give Amant a bit of space. There we go. Isn't that absolutely stunning? So I think she's gone up there to get away from the biting flies and that were plaguing her on the road. So she's going to rest here for an hour. We're not going to go anywhere. We're going to sit here, see if she comes down, see if she continues to hunt, or see if she goes to meet up with her cub. While we do that, apparently Jamie nearly fell into a pan. Well, Thandi has decided to go very, very flat. Now, while we're looking at the beautiful face of Thandi sleeping in a tree, and a very beautiful tree that is, it's a lovely tambuti tree. You can see that sort of crocodile skin like bark. It's quite a big one as well for this area. Now, I was just chatting to Amant and he was giving me an update on something I'm sure a lot of you would like to know about. Craig, should I tell them? Should I tell them what Amant told me?
Maybe keep them in suspense.
Maybe let's keep them in suspense for a little bit longer. No, I was just chatting to Amant and he gave me the update on the Styx cubs. So they're in the Mawati River to the south of Gari Main, but quite close to the Mala Mala boundary, and they must have been born. Amant was saying they saw that lioness on Sunday and she was still pregnant. So those cubs are due 2 days old today. Obviously that area is very much zoned for the moment until those cubs are bigger. And so there are 4 cubs, and they all seem to be very healthy when they were seen. So very exciting stuff that there are some new lion cubs. Now we just need those 2 Nkuhuma ladies to follow suit and get and produce some new cubs for the northern prides as well. Now you can see even around her toes the biting flies buzzing about. Sleeping on her one leg. She looks extremely comfortable though. A beautiful leopard. And James would like to know, which properties does Thandi's territory encompass? And there she only really covers, she covers a few more. So she is Torchwood, Chitwa, a tiny bit of Cheetah Plains in Nkoro, and then south into Vessels. That's her territory. So the next leopard to the west is Karula. The leopard to the south of her is her daughter Kuchava, and the leopard to the east of her and to the north of her is Nkanyeni. And her whole territory is encompassed by Tingana's territory. Now, I don't think she's going to move in the next couple of minutes, but we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to play the patience game. While we do that, Jamie is having a stare-off with an antelope. Very sleepy indeed. Now, hopefully, Taylor does manage to track down the Nkuhuma tree that has the Nkuhuma pride lying underneath it. Thandi's waiting for maybe for it to get a little bit darker, when she has a little bit more advantage in the hunting. But she does look extremely comfortable at the moment. Sometimes you see leopards sleeping in a tree and you think, how could that be comfortable? But that actually looks very comfortable. Miss Sky would like to know, is she smaller than Karula? I'd say she's similar size to Karula. Maybe even a little bit bigger. But I don't think she's smaller than Karula. And you must realize it's always very difficult to judge these things, because it's very seldom you actually ever see these animals standing next to each other, back to back, or side to side in their case. Now, speaking of size, I think I may have told this story, I'm not sure. Tristan and I were measuring fridge seals with a tape measure the other day. And once we were finished, we just decided to start measuring all the random people in camp. And there's people, it's amazing. The thing for me that I find incredibly amazing is that people's perception of their own height. So there's certain people I'm not going to mention in camp, Kirsten McLennan Smith, who think they're a lot taller than they are. And it's very funny when you actually measure them and they say, no, I'm not. The tape measure doesn't lie. But don't worry, Kirsty. Kirsty's back from leave tomorrow. Rebecca is going on leave tomorrow. But don't worry, Kirsty, you're no longer the shortest person in camp. That dubious honor has been taken by our latest addition to the Safari Live crew. And that's Megan, the midget. Yes, and we tried to get a nickname for her a few days ago, and we decided that Matsikitsoch is her name, Little Matsikitsoch. Matsikitsoch is the Xitsonga word for a dwarf mongoose. Poor little Megs. And of course, being the new person in camp, she does get teased a little. And being the shortest and the youngest, so she's poor girl. She's got the trifecta, Rebecca says. But anyway, well, of course, it's all done in the best of spirits. There's no malice in it at all. Now, the sky is getting quite pretty, so Craig's going to show you it there quickly, and we can see the cloud that has been sitting over us densely is breaking up and starting to move off. So that's great news. Hopefully, we're going to have a nice sunny day tomorrow. Beautiful skies. Very clear skies after rain and weather we've had. There's very little particulates in the air, very little dust and smoke and stuff like that. So you tend to get a far sort of cleaner, yellower light from the sunsets than you do in the dry season, where you've got lots of smoke and dust and other particulates in the air. As I said, it's very peaceful sitting here at the moment. Can't really, if we just try this, just close your eyes and listen for a few, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and see what you can hear. And just let me know. I know it's going to be difficult to get the individual species, but just tell me how many insects, how many birds, how many different sounds you can hear. So just close your eyes, because it's very difficult to do with your eyes open. And we'll get Craig to show you the pretty sky again while we do this. And we're just going to close our eyes and keep still and quiet for 30 seconds and listen. And if you send what you hear to hashtag Safari Live or questions at WildEarthTV. It's always an interesting time of the day to have a listen to stuff, because it's the changing of the guards. So quite a lot of your diurnal species are slowing down, and your nocturnal species can start making a noise. And well, we're going to sit here and remain nice and calm next to Thandi and wait for her to hopefully get moving. So while we do that, I think Jamie's also listening to what's about. So let's go see what she can hear. Still with Thandi, and she hasn't moved a muscle. She's snoozing in the exact same spot. I think she's going to snooze here for quite a bit longer, so we're probably going to start meandering back towards Djuma, see if we can find Tingana on our way home. And like the Nkumas, I think we'll come look for Thandi again in the morning. Hi, Stephen. Stephen would like to know, how many cubs has Thandi raised to adulthood? Stephen, I'm not 100% sure, but I know there's Kuchava and Bahuti for sure. So 2 I know for sure. Maybe some of our leopard experts out there know if she's raised any more to adulthood, and you can let me know. I would be most appreciative. But she is very much a flat cat at the moment. Very fluffy belly. So she's much darker than Shadow or Karula, and seems to have a little bit more attitude. Now, I think that's why Jamie likes her. I don't know. I think my 2 favorite females are still, well, there's now 2. There used to be 1. There are 2. It's Nkanyeni and, of course, Shongile. But isn't that gorgeous? Now, I'm going to show you what happens if I turn the spotlight off. And you see how camouflaged she is. I mean, look at that. No spotlight, she absolutely melts into that. And that little groove there. Oh, a biting fly got her on the nose. Now, Paul is wondering who is the father of her current cub. Paul, so we can all speculate. Tingana holds territory, and we have seen her mating with Tingana. But female leopards are known to move up to 3 to 4 territories out while mating, and they'll mate with multiple males over a short space of time, so they all think they're the dad. So unless you do genetic testing, you don't know who's the dad. Oh, are we going to get up? Are we going to go hunting, or are we going to go back to sleep? That biting fly seemed to do us a favour, because till it bit her on the schnoz, she was fast asleep. That she's giving her paws or claws a good clean there. Now, when she wants to wash her face, she'll actually lick her paw and then wipe her paw over her face. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have seen your domestic cats at home do similar things. Now, Reese is wondering, why are herbivores' eyes almost black and carnivores' eyes not? Well, the eyes are designed slightly differently, and I'm trying to think if I know of any carnivores with dark eyes. Well, hyenas have relatively dark eyes, but I'm just trying to think. It could be to do with the number of rods and cones, and also you must remember predators' eyes are forward facing like apes' eyes, whereas herbivores' eyes are perched on the side, so they actually have a sort of a crossover vision, and to try see as much as sort of 180 degrees around them to ensure that they don't get caught by a predator. So with the predator's eyes, also slightly different shape, because you're like ours, forward facing and focused, so we zone in on something and hunt, whereas a herbivore's eyes are different. I'm actually trying to think now, and I can't think of any particular reason offhand why they would be black as opposed to another color, so I will do some research on that, and we'll get back to you. Oh, there we go, a little stretch, cleaning the claws on the tambuti tree. You can actually hear those claws gripping into the tree. Looks like she is going to come down, maybe. So we're not very far from Chitwa Lodge at the moment, and this last cub was actually born under, or at the rocky area around room number 9. So this is very much the sort of core section of her territory, the Mulwanini around Chitwa Dam and the surrounding areas. So, and as again, her neighbor is her mom. If we go to the west, it's just Karula. Now, as female leopards get older, and they're often surrounded by their daughters, and their territories get smaller and smaller, and of course it becomes harder and harder for older leopards, but in saying that, their legacy is ensured by their daughters being there. Elizabeth says she hears solace when we're talking about it. I'll go through what I could hear just now, but I think we're going to concentrate on Thandi for now. Look at that, she just disappears. The grass is so long at the moment. I think we're going to have quite a difficult time trying to follow her. It looks like she might come out towards us. Okay, she's going to go behind us, so I'm going to do some maneuvering. So while we do that, let's go see what Madam McCurdy's up to.